I tried to push him, not in a cruel way, just make a man out of him. I took him hunting once. He cried when we shot a deer. Not loud, but I saw the tears. I told him to knock it off. That night, he locked himself in his room and barely spoke to me for a week. I thought I was teaching him how to be a man. Turns out, I was teaching him how to fear me. By the time he hit 16, there was a wall between us. He'd come home, grunt a greeting, disappear into his room. I stopped trying, figured he'd grow out of whatever it was. Then one night, I went upstairs to grab a flashlight. Tyler didn't hear me. His door was cracked open. And there he was, standing in front of the mirror, wearing one of Marlene's red scarves, looking at himself like he was someone else. I froze. My first instinct? Anger. Not even because of the scarf, but because something felt wrong. It scared me. I didn't say a word, just backed away and went back downstairs, heart pounding, jaw tight. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. My mind raced with questions I didn't want to ask. What the hell was going on with my son? Was he confused? Gay? Was this some kind of rebellion? I didn't talk to Marlene about it. Didn't talk to Tyler. Just buried it. That's what men do, right? Bury the discomfort. Weeks passed. Months. Tyler got quieter. Started wearing hoodies all the time, like he was hiding from the world, from me. Then one night at dinner, Marlene said it. He's been asking about therapists, she said, cutting her chicken like it was just another Tuesday. Gender therapists. I didn't understand at first. What kind of therapists? Gender, she repeated. He says he doesn't feel right in his body. I put my fork down. My throat went dry. Tyler didn't look up. He just stood up and walked out. And just like that, I felt something snap, like I was losing my grip on reality, like I didn't know my own son anymore. That night, I didn't sleep. Just sat in my garage with a beer in one hand and my thoughts in the other. I kept hearing Marlene's voice. He doesn't feel right in his body. What the hell did that even mean? I thought it might be a phase, a teenage identity crisis. God knows kids go through weird shit nowadays. Maybe too much internet. Maybe some bad influence at school. But a few days later, Marlene sat me down. Not Tyler, her. She wants to talk to you, Marlene said, soft like she was preparing me for a funeral. She? I barked. What the hell do you mean she? Tyler's chosen name is Tessa. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because I didn't know what else to do. This is a joke, I said. This is some kind of social media cult thing, right? Marlene didn't smile. Her eyes filled up with tears. Not angry ones, exhausted ones. She's been carrying this for years, John. She's scared to death of you. That hit harder than anything else. Scared of me. I thought I was the protector in this family. The rock. The provider. Turns out I was the threat. I didn't say anything. Just left the room. Got in my truck. Drove. No destination. Just drove. I pulled over near the lake. The one where we used to fish when Tyler was small. I stared at the water for a long time. In my mind, I saw my little boy with his tangled line and his shy smile, asking me questions I barely answered. And now that boy was saying he was not a boy at all. I felt like the ground under me shifted, like the world was spinning off its axis. I stayed out until after midnight. Didn't answer my phone. I wasn't ready to go back. Next morning, I found a note on the kitchen table. Tessa, had written it. Dad, I know you probably hate me right now. I've spent my whole life trying to be what you wanted, but it's killing me. I'm not your son. I'm your daughter. I know this is hard, but this isn't new for me. I've felt this way for years. I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm doing this to survive. If you can't accept me, I understand. I just can't pretend anymore. Tessa. I read it twice, then I crumpled it and threw it in the trash. I wish I could say I did better, but I didn't. That day, I didn't speak to her. I couldn't look at her. She tried to talk to me. I walked away. She asked if we could go to therapy together. I told her to go with her mother. She asked if I could call her Tessa. I said, "Don't push me." The house got colder, not in temperature, but in feeling. We sat at the same table, ate the same dinners, but there was a silence that screamed louder than any argument. Marlene tried to hold it all together. She kept speaking gently, trying to bridge the gap, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to bury the son I thought I had. And she wasn't waiting for permission to become who she truly was. Weeks turned into months. She started dressing different. Her hair changed. Her voice changed. Not just how it sounded, how she used it. There was more strength in it now, more certainty. But I couldn't see it that way. Every little change felt like another piece of my son being erased. I kept calling her Tyler. She'd flinch every time, like it cut her. But I told myself I had the right. I raised Tyler. I named Tyler. Now I was supposed to just let him disappear. She wasn't trying to disappear. She was trying to live. But I couldn't see that. One morning, she came down the stairs wearing a light blue dress. It wasn't anything revealing, just simple. Pretty, I guess, if I wasn't so angry. I stood there at the foot of the stairs, staring. She froze. I said nothing. Then I snapped. "Are you doing this to piss me off?" She didn't cry, didn't scream, just stood there. "No," she said. "I'm doing this because I want to stop hating myself." Something about that sentence hit me hard, but I didn't let it show. I shook my head and left for work without another word. That night, I came home late. The house was quiet. Marlene was in the bedroom. She looked pale. "She's gone," she said. My chest tightened. "What do you mean, gone?" She left a note, packed a bag, said she needs space, said she can't live here if she's invisible. I stood there like someone had hit me with a bat. I felt it, deep in my bones, not just the loss, but the shame. This wasn't about politics or identity or beliefs anymore. This was about my kid not feeling safe in her own home. For days, I didn't eat, didn't sleep right. I kept looking. Then came the hospital. Marlene got the call. Tessa had been brought in not from an accident, not from illness. An attempt. The word burned in my chest. She tried to end it. because the world didn't see her, because I didn't. We drove in silence. My hands shook on the steering wheel. I wasn't a praying man, but I prayed that night. When I saw her in that bed, pale, wires everywhere, I broke. Not in some dramatic way. I just stood there. And for the first time in my life, I couldn't hold it together. I wept. My daughter, was lying there because I was too proud to say her name. I sat next to her bed all night. Marlene stayed too, but gave me space. I think she knew I needed it. Or maybe she knew I was finally ready to feel the weight I'd been avoiding for years. Tessa was asleep, sedated. Her face was thinner than I remembered. Her hands trembling in her sleep. And I kept thinking, I almost lost her. Not just the way I lost my son. I mean, really lost her. Forever. And why? Because I couldn't let go of my version of who she was supposed to be. The shame wrapped around my chest like chains. I thought I was strong, but all I'd done was punish a child for trying to be whole. In the morning, when she opened her eyes and saw me, her lips barely moved. "You don't have to be here," she whispered. I shook my head. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. "Not this time. I didn't fix things in a day. There's no neat ending to something this deep." But I started showing up. I started by calling her Tessa. It felt weird at first, like wearing someone else's clothes. But she smiled when I said it. Not a big smile, just a flicker. And that flicker was enough to keep me trying. I went to a support group for parents of trans kids. First time I spoke, I could barely get a sentence out without choking on guilt. But nobody judged me. They'd all been there. The confusion, the anger, the grief, the love. Yes, grief. Because that's what it is sometimes. Letting go of the person you thought you had, and learning to embrace the one who's been there all along. I read books. I asked questions. I sat in on therapy sessions, even when it was uncomfortable. Once, I asked her, "When did you know?" She looked at me for a long time. "Since I was 5, she said. But I didn't have the words, and I knew you'd hate me. I broke again. "I never hated you," I said. "I was just scared." She nodded. "Me too." Months passed. She moved back in, just for a while. Said she needed time, space. I understood. But we had breakfast together. Watched movies. She introduced me to music I didn't understand. I helped her build furniture for her new apartment. One night, we were putting together a shelf, one of those awful ones from IKEA, and I looked at her and realized I hadn't thought about Tyler in weeks. Not because I'd forgotten, but because I no longer needed to hold on to that name to love her. She laughed at my terrible attempts to use a screwdriver. "Still useless with tools, huh?" I said. "Good thing I'm not." She smiled. A year passed. Tessa had her own place now. Small apartment downtown. Lots of plants, mismatched furniture, artwork on every wall. She was building a life, a real life, one she designed herself. I visited once a week, sometimes for coffee, sometimes just to help fix things, though she was better with tools than I'd ever been. Every visit chipped away at the old version of me. Every joke, every hug, Every thanks, Dad. It rebuilt something in me I didn't even know was broken. One afternoon, I was sitting on her couch, holding a mug that said, "World's okayest dad." She handed it to me the first time I visited. It was a joke, sure, but it stung too, because it was true. That day, she was talking about a job interview, something at a community arts center. She was nervous, fidgeting with her bracelet, pacing the room. "Do you think they'll take me seriously?" she asked. "As a trans woman?" I looked at her. She was wearing a soft green blouse, simple earrings, her hair pulled back. She looked more alive than I'd ever seen her. "Tessa," I said, "if they don't take you seriously, they don't deserve you." She stopped, turned. Her eyes welled up. "Thank you," she whispered. That was the first time I said it without hesitation. No awkward pause, no internal correction, just her name, Tessa. Not long after, she invited me to a small event she was hosting, some kind of open mic at the center. Art, poetry, all that stuff I never used to understand. I didn't want to go. Crowds make me uneasy. But she asked, and I said yes. That night, I sat in the back, arms crossed, surrounded by people I didn't recognize. Bright hair, loud clothes, words I didn't fully get. And then she stepped on stage. "My name is Tessa," she said, voice. It was about childhood, about hiding, about shame, about hope. It was raw, beautiful, painful. When she finished, everyone clapped. Some stood. She bowed her head, and then she looked at me. Just a glance, and I stood too. Not because I understood every word, but because I finally understood her. After the show, someone came up to me. "You must be Tessa's dad," they said. I nodded. "She's incredible." And for the first time, I felt it. Not confusion, not grief. Pride, not the kind I imagined when she was born. Not the pride of raising a boy who would carry my name. A different kind, deeper, wiser. Pride in her courage, pride in my growth, pride in her. A few months later, my brother called. He and I had always been close in that distant, manly kind of way. Beer over football, sarcasm over sentiment. He hadn't seen Tessa since she came out. I could tell from his voice he was uncomfortable. "So, he started. You still talk to Tyler?" I paused. "No, I talked to Tessa." He went quiet. Then, "Right, got it." But he didn't get it. Not yet. "Listen," I said. "If you're coming to Mom's birthday next weekend, Tessa's going to be there." Another pause. "She, huh?" "Yeah," I said flatly. "She's my daughter, and I want you to treat her with respect." He sighed. "You know this is hard for some of us to understand." I leaned back in my chair. It was hard for me to understand Mike, but that didn't stop her from being who she is. It just almost stopped her from surviving it. That shut him up, and maybe, just maybe, it made him think. At Mom's birthday, I stood near the patio, watching Tessa talk to my cousins. She was laughing, her hands expressive, her eyes bright. She belonged there, and people saw it, even the ones who weren't sure what to call her. Later, I tapped my glass and raised it for a toast. "Before we finish this cake," I said, "I just want to say something." People turned. Tessa froze. her wine glass halfway to her lips. "I've got a daughter," I said. A hush. "Her name is Tessa. She's smart, kind, braver than most of us, and I'm proud to be her dad." There was silence. Then a few claps. Then more. Tessa's hand trembled. Her eyes filled. And in front of everyone, she walked up and hugged me. "I love you, Dad," she whispered. And this time, I didn't hold back. "I love you too, sweetheart. We don't always get to choose the lessons life gives us, but we do get to choose what we do with them. I lost the son I thought I had, but I found my daughter. And in the process, I found parts of myself I never knew were missing."